What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. In today's video, we have one of the brand new miners that just hit the market, and Solo Miners USA has sent it out to me to do a review and hook me up with it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna unbox this bad boy, which, spoiler, I've kind of already unboxed it, so it's just sitting in this box for the intro, but we're gonna unbox this bad boy, get it set up, kind of talk over some of the specs, and see how this bad boy runs. I'm super excited to get into it. I'm sure you guys have seen sneak peeks of this miner. Only a certain amount of people have this out for sale right now, and lucky enough, Solo Miners USA has it in stock and ready for purchase. So let's bust this box open and see what we got inside. All right, so let's peel this thing open and slowly, bam. So first off, looking at this thing, it is super sick, man. Let's get it on the desk and kind of give you a 360 view around it and kind of check out what it's got going on. All right, so we have this thing on the desk here. You can see it's got one of the huge fans on it. It also has a VR fan with a pretty beefy heat sink under there. Look at that. Just for the VRs, it has a crazy aluminum heatsink with its own dedicated fan, which is super cool because, as some of y'all know, you can see some of the mods from the NerdQX Pluses, how people 3D printed a shroud here and it had a little thing for the voltage regulator. So it's kind of cool to see that they kind of bolted this in the board for a specific VR cooler, which is really, really sick. So anyway, you got this nice little stand here, the NerdQX. And if we take a look at the cooler here, you can see it's got some big old pipes on it. And the way this one sits is, so you got the radiator here, but the pipes, let me see if I can get a better view. The pipes kind of feed into a cooling plate down there, which is very unique. So this thing kind of sits up off the board and your pipes run into that cooling plate and keeps everything nice and cool. So spinning this thing around, on the back, you can see it's got a nice little fan back here to keep the back of the board nice and cool. And I'm going to say this little stand is very, very nice. Probably one of the best stands I've seen out of home solo miners so far. It's just a very compact and unique setup, and I really like it. And you can also see here, so this is your LED screen. And it also has the USB-C port, but it also has these nice little buttons here that you can control whatever you need to. So that's kind of an overview of the NerdQX. And so let's get this bad boy plugged in and see what she's all about. All right, so we just plugged it in, got it powered on. Oh, another thing I would like to mention is it does come with the XT60 connector. So it comes with the connector like your OCTAXs have, and it comes with a pretty big, beefy 12-volt, 18-amp power supply. Plenty enough to power this bad boy. But you can see it's booting on now. Different color blue screen, so it's the NerdQX, which is kind of cool. And you can also see it's got the BM1370 chips in there as well. Running at about 125 watts and pulls about 8 terahash. I got this one slightly underclocked just because of my electricity, but not really that much underclocked. It's at it's running at about 7.9, but I just did that because where I'm at, it's a little pricey, and I had it running for a few days, and this thing has been running without a hitch. So now let's jump over to the computer, kind of show you guys the dashboard and what it's got going on. All right, and before we go any further, I just want to shout out the Solo Miners USA website. I will link everything down below, and if you use code HINES at checkout, you will get $10 off your first order, and there will be links down in the description that you can utilize that. And again, code HINES at checkout for a discount. But you can also go over here. So they have a bunch of miners for sale. They have the OCTAXs, they have the Avalons, they have the NerdQXs, but right here is the NerdQX, and it's listed for $500. And you can see it's listed for 8.1 terahash, XT60 connector, and you can go on here and they do have them in stock. I'm not exactly sure how many he has, but I do know he just ordered a bunch more. So if they do happen to be out of stock by the time you go, if you want to make this purchase, then just reach out to me and I will let you know when he should have new stock in, and I can kind of guarantee you your spot if you do want to pick one of these up. So like I said, if they're sold out by the time you get there, just reach out to me and I'll have him put you on a wait list so you can get the first one when he restocks next week, I think it is. So again, shout out to Solar Miners USA. Check them out with the link down in the description. Now, let's get back to this bad boy's dashboard. All right, so we are in the NerdQX dashboard. You know, very similar looking dashboard here. You know, we all know it and have grown to love this little dashboard. You can really do anything you want to do in here. And it's just very user-friendly and open source as always, which is a very, very good thing. So you can see down here, the power is running at about 128 watts. The ASIC chip fan speed's 56%, and ASIC temp is 70. And I do have this at an automatic fan speed, so you know, keep it running at about 70 degrees. But you can see all 4 ASIC chips there. And then see, this is where that, let me pan back over here. So you see, that's the VR regulator, little dedicated fan there. It keeps these VRs very, very cool. And that is such a great idea that they come out with, to have a dedicated heatsink and dedicated fan for this unit. You know, highly respect that, and it's really needed that, because that's been one of these big things about these home miners is, you know, you can get your ASIC chips good and cool, but then you have your VR temps that are spiking through the damn roof, and then you have to put in another solution for that. So it's just really cool to see them innovating and, you know, evolving with the space, and it's just really good to see. So anyway, we'll jump back up here. So you can see it's hashing at about 9.7. You know, and this thing can go, I mean, you can clock this thing well over 8 terahash. Like I said, I'm just running this at a little bit back because of my power, and I've had it running for a few days, and just trying to be smart, because I'm not trying to we're about to go on a cruise, and I'm not trying to pay more electricity than I need to, so I'm being a little tight penny pincher right now. But anyway, this is the dashboard, guys. I have it hooked to solopool.org, mining Bitcoin Cash. And if we go over to the settings here, you can see the miner settings, fan controller, how I have it set to 70, automatic shutdown at 90. I highly recommend, if you guys do have any of the Nerd miners, NerdQX, NerdQX, highly recommend that you guys put a shutdown temperature, because, you know, if anything was to happen, you know, you want a safety net if this thing starts to overheat. So always be sure to put in your shutdown temperature. It's very, very important. And then, of course, down here you have all your firmware updates that you can do as they come out. But anyway, guys, I'm glad I was able to get this thing and kind of showcase it for you. Very cool miners. Like I said, this is a very cool, you know, desk piece. It's very neat. It's very clean. It's not tacky. Like, everything's encased, like the screen is encased in a nice little case there. Everything just looks uniform. And, you know, it's a well-branded case stand that it's on. I just really like it. You know, it's very clean. It's very appealing. You can kind of set this thing anywhere. And really, this big old heatsink on this bad boy is awesome as well. So, what I plan on doing next with this thing is, after this video, I'm going to pop this stuff off, and I'm going to kind of replace the thermal paste on it to see if, you know, that'll help bring down the temperature some, because I want to try to get this thing to run at about 60 with where, you know, when I can overclock it a little bit. So I'm going to replace the paste on this stuff. I might make a video on that and kind of show you guys how to break this down and do it the right way, so you're not, you know, messing anything up. A lot of it's, you know, self-explanatory, especially if you've got these things before and you've played with them before. It's a tinkerer's dream, these little miners here. So anyway, guys, that about wraps it up. Again, hop over to Solar Miners USA. Check out their website. You know, like I said, they got this thing listed. They also have the BitX V2. They have all kind of stuff. So jump over there. If they don't got what you want, just reach out to me, and I'll reach out to the guy that runs the website, and I'll get you guys hooked up. But anyway, guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, drop them down below, and I'll be happy to help you out. Until next time, happy hashing.